Hello everyone. Welcome back to a new quick review. We are going to talk about today to a high yield topic related to the step 1 and related to the step 2 CK as well. We are going to talk about to anemia. How we need to approach anemia. When we are in front of a patient with anemia, we need to get the CBC. And the CBC is going to show us how are the levels of hemoglobin. Actually, the low levels of hemoglobin or the levels under 13, we say that the patient is getting an anemia. But the real symptoms of anemia is coming when the patient is getting a levels of hemoglobin below of 10. Now, we need to see inside of the CBC how is the levels or how is the number of MCV, the mean corpuscular volume. The mean corpuscular volume. The normal levels of the mean corpuscular volume is going to be between 80 to 100. 80 to 100. But if we see that the patient is getting a number different to this range, we are able to say that the patient is getting a kind of issue. And if we are able to put together the CBC with the MCV, we are able to classify the anemias. So if we are going to see a patient that we need to approach the anemia, and we see any levels under 13 in the hemoglobin, we are able to say that the patient is getting an anemia. Now, the second step is try to review the MCV, the mean corpuscular volume. Now, with these two steps, we are able to classify the anemia. So we are going to get three kinds of anemia. Those three types of anemia are going to be microcytic anemia, normocytic anemia, and macrocytic anemia. That classification is going to be, or is going to depend of the levels of the range of MCV, the mean corpuscular volume. If the mean corpuscular volume is going to be between 80 to 100, that is a normocytic anemia. But if the MCV is between or is less than 80, is going to be a microcytic anemia. But if the MCV is greater than 100, that is classified as a macrocytic anemia. So the another point that we need to review inside of the CBC is the reticulocyte index. The reticulocyte index. Why we need to review the reticulocyte index? Because when the reticulocyte index is less than 2%, that is telling us that the problem is the production. For some reason, the bone marrow is producing less hemoglobin, is producing less red blood cells, and that is leading us to a microcytic anemia or a macrocytic anemia. So the microcytic anemia the reticulocyte index is going to be less than 2%. And the same thing is going to show us the microcytic anemia. The microcytic anemia, the reticulocyte index is less than 2%. So the normocytic anemia, mostly of the time, is due to a destruction issue. So the reticulocyte index is going to be greater than 2%. Reticulocyte index in the normocytic anemia is going to be greater than 2%. So what are the causes of the microcytic anemia, normocytic anemia, and macrocytic anemia? The principal issues that we are going to see in the microcytic anemia is the iron deficiency, is the chronic disease, is the thalassemia, and is going to be the sideroblastic anemia. Mostly of the time, the macrocytic anemia is going to be classified in two kinds of anemia. That classification is going to be made through the blood smear. If we see in the blood smear that there is more than 5 lobes in the neutrophils, we are able to say that the macrocytic anemia is a megaloblastic anemia. So we are able to divide or to classify the macrocytic anemia between a megaloblastic anemia and non-megaloblastic anemia. The megaloblastic anemia in the blood smear is going to show us more than 5 lobes in the neutrophils. But in the non-macrocytic anemia, we are going to see that there are less than 5 lobes in the neutrophils. So the causes of the macrocytic anemia for megaloblastic anemia is going to be the B9 and B12 deficiencies. B9 and B12 deficiencies. B9 is the folate. And there is another type or another kind of anemia that is a megaloblastic anemia. Is the methylmalonylic acid anemia. Methylmalonylic acid anemia. And the anemias that are classified as a macrocytic anemia, but is non-megaloblastic anemia, is going to be the cirrhosis, the hepatic, the liver issues, the consume of alcohol, and some metabolic conditions. And with this quick review, we are finishing today. Please give us a thumbs up after each video and follow us as Doctor in USA. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.